Good morning. I've been living out of this Tesla Model Y for over 6 months, and before jumping into this lifestyle, one of the major questions I had was how safe would it be? I've been traveling all across the US. I've been probably in over half the states at this point, lots of national parks, big cities. Especially in big cities, there's some different safety concerns. So I'm going to share a little bit that I've learned on the safety side and what I do to keep myself safe. And this is not a fix-all. I am taking on risk while traveling around. I'm keeping my costs low while living out of this. I'm not having to pay room and board. This is going to be my second night here on a Forest Service road. I'm close to Mount Rainier National Park, and there really aren't too many people around. One of the first things that I'll do if I'm in a dispersed camping area where it's allowed, I'm gonna go around and try to see who else is at least close by. And I know a lot of people will come out to these areas for a wide range of reasons. Some people don't want to be bothered by another human, but I'll usually approach most people, their vehicles, RVs, vans, and I'll just wave. I won't get too close. I'll just try to say hello to get a gauge of how safe they might be. And 95% of the time, people are really friendly. It's often led to longer conversations and sharing food and drinks. So yeah, that's kind of a go-to for me, is getting to know a few people that are staying around the area as well. And when I get to a new area, I generally try to show up while it's still light out. Especially for dispersed camping areas, I'm on Forest Service roads and the roads sometimes might not be great. Kind of plan in advance. Oftentimes I'll only do the day before, the research the day before, which I could be a little bit better with, but luckily it's worked out so far. One thing that's nice about having a Tesla is it's kind of like a little box of armor. I have a tent with me, so campsites where it's required to use a tent, I have it for that reason, but pretty much every night I've stayed in this Tesla, and it protects me from the elements, of course. Now, one thing that's kind of unique to a Tesla, so when I sleep in it, I put up little window covers on the inside so people can't see me on the inside, but around the outside of the car, I think there's 8 cameras, a really good backup camera, and then little side cameras where you can see parts side of the car. If I hear noises around the car, something that might be worrying me, instead of having to get out and see what's going on, I can simply turn on the front screen and see, based on those cameras, what's happening around the car. So that definitely has helped me feel a little safer. I've done that a decent amount, and luckily no bad situations so far. On top of that, Tesla allows you to put the car into Sentry mode, so you can record, capture video of things that have happened around the car. So for insurance reasons or whatnot, that could come in handy. I luckily haven't had to use it yet though. And I think this is a deterrent for some people that have car theft. People are becoming more aware of the safety features built in the Tesla. So maybe it's helped keep me a little safer in the big cities, who knows. And being out here in nature, I'm not far from Mount Rainier National Park in Washington. You do have to worry about animals. During the winter, I came pretty close to some elk in an area that I was camping at. Bears are around this area. So when I walk around, I just have some personal protection gear, and I'm generally more worried about people than I am animals. Here where I'm at on this Forest Service road, it's far enough away from Seattle and big cities that I don't think there's going to be as much crime. There's still always the potential for it, and I'm keeping my guard up. Oftentimes, new places that I travel to, first night I don't always sleep as well, but then if I stay for a few nights and have gotten to know people around the area, then I tend to sleep a little bit easier. And one of the other big reasons I got an EV to travel and live the modified van life is that I can keep temperature controls on throughout the evening, throughout the day, compared to a gas car, which if you did that, there's toxic fumes that wouldn't be safe. And getting around, the clearance isn't the best in the vehicle, but more often than not, the areas that I find, I can easily get around and move quickly if I need to. This area that I'm at, there are forest fires a ways out, But you never know, you want to make sure you have multiple routes that you can escape for any given reason. So I do keep that in mind in quite a few places that I travel. And another tip for Tesla owners, your phone is your key. So when you sleep in it, when you lock the car, turn off the Bluetooth on your phone. Otherwise, proximity, if you have it in your car, someone could just open up the door. So before I go to sleep, I'll turn off the Bluetooth and then I'll lock the car from the main screen. And then I should be good for the night. But then a little tip is you want to make sure to turn it back on in the morning. Otherwise, you might set off your car alarm. Those are just a few tips to consider for safety when living out of a car, a Tesla specifically. If you guys have any other recommended tips, please drop them down in the comments below. And as always, I'd really appreciate it if you just tap the like button as well as subscribe, because that really helps me out as a small creator.